Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So now that it's June 1st, 4 weeks from the NHL draft, I'm going to start pumping out some goddamn draft content. When looking at it, I already started my player breakdowns. I've done Mac and Celebrini, Berkeley Cadden. I got Artem Leshinov coming later today. I've given my own mock drafts. I've given my own player rankings a month or so ago, and I started to react to some mock drafts. We got a pretty interesting mock draft today here from The Athletic. When looking at it, I think that The Athletic and Elite Prospects are my two go-tos when it comes to prospect breakdowns. I really like their work, their overall film breakdown, as well as just their overall articles. So we're going to go through this mock draft. It's not a traditional mock draft. This is not putting themselves in the shoes of what they think these teams are going to do. These are actually these three guys, Scott Wheeler and Corey Proman, are their main two guys, as well as Max Blutman. This is making their own, as you can see, their own selections for each team. So hear me out on this. This isn't exactly what they think that they're going to do, but these are three seasoned scouts, the Athletics' top three scouts going through what they would do at each pick. So I wanted to get their thoughts on it. I have not seen this yet. I can assume Mac and Celebrini goes first overall to the San Jose Sharks, but beyond that, I have absolutely no clue. So let's dive into it. Up first, Mac and Celebrini. No shit here. He's going to go first overall. As Proman says, it's not that much of a shock. Celebrini is a stud, a potential elite NHL player. There's defensemen that he likes, but you don't overthink this. Even though the San Jose Sharks maybe need that franchise defenseman, next year, they probably won't win the lottery. They probably won't get Hagen, so just get Logan Hensler at second and third overall. Lock up Mac and Celebrini. Next up, Scott Wheeler selects Ivan Demidov. I keep on mispronouncing. How do I pronounce it exactly? I think it might be Demidov. I think I've been pronouncing it wrong as Demidov. But similar train of thought here. I like some of the defensemen between the 3 to 6 range, but I think Demidov is the second best prospect in this draft. You need to give Connor Bedard a future stud. I like Oliver Moore. I like Frank Nazar. Are they future stars like an Ivan Demidov? I'm not so sure. I think they're good tops. I think they have a lot of future top 6 pieces, but they need that other star. They need the Kane and Taze duo. Worry about the defenseman later down the line. And they still have the 18th overall pick after trading with the Islanders. A decent defenseman could be there. Third overall, Artem Leshinov. Okay, Artem Leshinov to the Anaheim Ducks. Again, another pretty no-brainer for the most part. If Anaheim falls if Leshinov doesn't go third overall, although Leshinov maybe isn't my best prospect in this draft, I think he's the highest floor, if that makes sense, considering what he did at Michigan, considering he's 6'2", fantastic skater, really good vision. I think Anaheim just locks up Leshinov and they're set. Zellweger, Leshinov, Minchikov, with the forward core that they have, would be disgusting. Next up, Carter Yakimchuk. Okay, so again, this is, as he says, I don't expect Yakimchuk to go this high on draft day. So he's admitting that this is kind of crazy. Let me just, okay, Berkeley Cadden's fifth, but let's talk about Yakimchuk. He had 30 goals in the WHL this season. I'm lower on Yakimchuk. I think that he is a tier below the top 5 guys. You can maybe make an argument for Silyev and Yakimchuk. That's crazy. I get that. Again, good goal scorer, 6'3". The potential is there for Carter Yakimchuk. If Columbus went 4th overall, Carter Yakimchuk, I would go berserk. Just considering they already have Matejchuk, they already have Juracek and Werenski. This would be insane. Berkeley Cadden 5th overall to Montreal. I've had this mocked a ton of times in my mock drafts. I think this would be a good fit. When looking at it, Nick Suzuki's their future fantastic two-way guy. If they want to swing on a guy, not saying Berkeley, Caden Lindstrom still hasn't gone in this mock draft, so I'd probably have Caden Lindstrom here. But still, Berkey Cadden can be that offensive dynamo, while Suzuki also very good offensively, don't get me wrong, but is more so that two-way guy. Berkey Cadden is that true game breaker type talent, potentially down the line. 6th overall, Anton Silyev to Utah. Makes sense considering they went Russian last year. That'd be pretty wild if they go back-to-back years of select 3 Russian guys in the top 12. I'm lower on Silyev. I don't think that he really creates a ton offensively. And although at 6'7", being as good defensively as he is very impressive. I think if you're selecting someone in the top 6, you're looking for that superstar potential. I think Silyev, best case scenario, is like a Chris Tanev shutdown defenseman top pair guy. If he turns into Chris Tanev, that's still fantastic. But I like to shoot for the stars when it comes to within top 6, in just top 10 picks overall. Zeev Boyum. Okay, we got Zeev Boyum and Zane Parik. Zane Parik finally goes here to Seattle. Ottawa, Makes sense. I think I'd rather go Perrick here than say Zeev Boyum, just because they already have a shit ton of left-handed defensemen. Shabbat and Sanderson are both lefties. Maybe Boyum can play on the right side. Maybe one of their guys can switch over to the right side. I mean, Chikrin already plays on the right side for the most part. But looking at Boyum, yeah, what's there not to love? He put up an historic year this year at college hockey. And then Seattle, that would be a slam dunk pick. I'm pretty high on Zane Perrick. I'm not sure where he's going to finish in my rankings. I haven't fully dove into him, but based on what I saw, Memorial Cup, he's been solid. I think that this would be a great pick for the Seattle Kraken in terms of getting that game-breaking offensive talent to play with Matty Beniers, Shane Wright, and all their very good prospects. I'm rocking. If you're wondering why I'm wearing goddamn turquoise right now compared to my usual U Miami hoodie, I'm rocking the Seattle Kraken. Okay, next two. Caden Lynch, again, if Caden Lindstrom falls to 9th to the Calgary Flames, that is a mega slam dunk. They are low on Caden Lindstrom in this, considering most people have Caden Lindstrom as a top 5 prospect. Elite prospects, I was watching them, they said that Caden Lindstrom was like their no-doubt number 3 guy. I'm not that high on him, but considering the potentials in this draft, I think there's a strong argument that Caden Lindstrom has the second highest potential outside of Macklin Celebrini. And even in that scenario, I could see a 6'3" with all the tools that Lindstrom has, maybe even becoming better. Very low, like 2 to 3%. But Lindstrom has arguably the highest upside in this entire draft, given his measurables. Sam Dickinson to the New Jersey Devils. I probably wouldn't go defenseman if I was the Devils here, considering Dougie Hamilton still has a shit ton of time left on his contract. You got Hughes, you got Nemitz, you got Seamus Casey, as well as John Marino, Siegenthaler already on the team. I would probably lean more so forward, but if Sam Dickinson is there, I am decently high on Sam Dickinson, and that's their best player available, I would understand why. It's not like they have a horrible forward core either and need to pick a forward. Okay, 11th, Cole Eiserman. Cole Eiserman would be interesting. A lot of playmakers on the Buffalo Sabres right now to get a goal-scoring freak in nature like Cole Eiserman. I think that makes some sense. I personally would, I don't know, I can't even think of right now who's still remaining. There's definitely some guys on my board that I would have higher that are still remaining. But Buffalo to Cole Eiserman, that makes sense. They don't need a center. They don't really need defense. They probably just need a pure goal scorer for their future second line. I like that. Bennett Seneca, 12th overall. This guy has been flying up the boards as of late. Apparently, he went from like 5'10" to 6'3" last summer. And yeah, he was very productive in the OHL playoffs. I think he's probably going to go in the lottery now. He's a very boomer bust guy because, again, the stats that he put up this year aren't that impressive, but the intangibles and the traits, the build is very impressive for Bennett Seneca. There we got him. Stian Solberg, 13th overall. TJ Ginla, 14th. Jeez, yeah, I would definitely go TJ Ginla or Bennett Seneca. But I don't remember Solberg. I'm going to be honest. Maybe this guy is a late riser. I don't know too much about him. Maybe I'm a fraud for that. But yeah, that's interesting. To the Minnesota Wild, Stian Solberg. That's a name to watch. TJ Ginla, though, 14th to the San Jose Sharks. You'd think that Calgary would take TJ Ginla at 9th overall, but if Caden Lindstrom's staring them in the face, I do think Caden Lindstrom is just a straight-up better prospect, and they should not factor in the Ginla factor. If San Jose got a Ginla and Celebrini from this draft, that would be fantastic work for them. They do, again, he reiterates it here, they do need a defenseman prospect, but I think next year they're probably targeting a Logan Hensler, assuming they don't win first overall. That'd be insane if they won first overall and have Hagens, Celebrini, and Smith. You wouldn't pass up Hagens just because you have other stud centers. Yep, I had Michael Brandsegg, Nygaard to the Detroit Red Wings as well. Plays in the Swedish League right now, the second-tier Swedish League. It's Steve Yzerman loves to pick his Swedes, and I think Nygaard could be a guy that is NHL ready by next season. Not this upcoming season, but the season after that, if that makes sense. So it makes sense for the Red Wings. Blues take Konstantinius. I'm pretty high on Konstantinius. He's a top 13 guy for me, probably going to be in my rankings. I like that. St. Louis probably should be prioritizing high ceilings more so than Helenius, that is more so of a low-floor guy. But it does make sense considering Robert Thomas is their franchise center. Get Helenius to be that future number 2, or Dvorsky also could be that. But Michael Hage, 17th overall to the Washington Capitals. I had him in a prior mock draft going to the Washington Capitals. I think that's solid after taking Ryan Leonard last year in the first round. Maybe you go with more so of a center this year, potentially a defenseman, but I don't think I really love any of the defensemen that remain. Adam Juracek still isn't gone, but I would opt for a center, maybe not. I would go Greentree or Connolly. I'm surprised they have not gone yet. Igor Chernyshov at this pick for Chicago. I think Chicago Might go defenseman here at 18th. The thing with them is they do have Korchinski, they do have Vlasic. Maybe, yeah, I guess it does make sense. Go defenseman next year with your top pick. Get a guy like Chernyshov, 6'3". They have a lot of smaller, skilled guys, especially if they pick Demidov. So yeah, I guess Chernyshov makes sense. Adam Jiricek to the Vegas Golden Knights. This would be a fantastic pick. Jiricek didn't really play that much this year. He's 6'3", very mobile like his brother. He could end up being a steal. I have him in that second tier of defensemen, but the potential is definitely there. Emil Hemming, I don't know too much about him. I think the Islanders end up trading this pick, so it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, a Finnish guy, two-way, I assume, could be solid. Okay, we got 3 here. Jet Luchenko. When looking at Luchenko, a very solid two-way, intelligent guy. I think that'll be a solid pick by the LA Kings. Cole, I'm going to botch that name, but Barry Colts, so I'm not a big fan. Next up, Liam Greentree to the Toronto Maple Leafs. This would be a fantastic pick. If Greentree falls to 23 and Conley falls to 24 to Toronto and Colorado, those would be arguably the steals of the night. Jesus Christ. I love Greentree. 36 goals, 90 points this year in the OHL on a pretty dog shit team. And then Conley, there's some off-ice stuff that you can look up on your own that's not good that happened to him, that he did when he was younger. Hopefully he's learned from that. But the talent there for Trevor Conley, he's one of the most talented players in this entire draft. I don't think that's an exaggeration to say. So if he gets drafted to Colorado and then in 3 to 4 years is playing in their top 6, that's a problem. Charlie Elick, don't know too much about him. Solid pick by Ottawa. 2 defensemen for Ottawa. I don't know about that. I think they probably will take a forward with their later first-round pick. They do have a shit ton of young forwards, so I understand maybe why you go defenseman, but I don't know. Sasha Boisvert, decently high upside, good goal scorer this year in the USHL. 27th overall, we got Yegor Cernan. I'm going to be honest. Actually, I think I know this guy. He was actually very productive this year in the MHL, I believe. Yeah, 3rd in MHL playing scoring. Yeah, he was very solid. Then Leo Salin Wallenius. I'm very high on this guy. In my last top 20, I had him like 20th. Fantastic skater. I'm not just reading off this. You can go watch when I talked about him before. Arguably one of the best skating defensemen in this entire draft. I don't think that he has the overall game to become a number 1 or maybe even a top pair guy, but I think he's going to be a very, very good second pair guy. And if you're Calgary, you're not expecting to get a franchise defenseman at 26th overall, this would be a very good pick. Parasak for the Anaheim Ducks. Makes sense. Give your young centers some goal scorers. Tarek Parasak, although he maybe didn't have the best draft year -1 in terms of like the fact he didn't even play in the WHL. He was insane this year when he was with elite talent like Riley Heidt, Zach Funk, Cohen Zimmer. They killed it this year, and he's a fantastic goal scorer. So yeah, that'd be good. EJ Emery, very good physical defenseman for the U.S. National Team Development Program. I like that pick for Philadelphia. That would be a very good pick. He's not going to be their future number 1 similarly, but I think like in Anton Silyev, he could be a very, very good top pair defenseman one day. Dean Letourneau to the Dallas Stars. When looking at this, the dude has a shit ton of upside. He's 6'7", 6'8". Tore up the prep circuit, not the most highest level of competition, but the traits on this kid is very, very impressive. Boomer bust, you're selecting at 31st overall. He could be the next Tage Thompson. He could never play a game for your team, but at this point, I would like that for the Dallas Stars. I mean, this is assuming that they lose in the Stanley Cup final, but if they were selecting in this range, why not take a chance on Dean Letourneau? Their young, under 26 core is set for the most part right now. Take a risk in the draft. And then lastly, Aaron Kiviharju to the New York Rangers. I think they probably will go defense when looking at their recent picks. Perreault, Ottman, 2020, Lafreniere. They haven't really picked a defenseman that high in the draft recently. I had like Henry Muse in this spot, but I think Aaron Kiviharju would be a decent, similarly to Dallas. Why not take a risk on a guy? Kiviharju was the first overall pick or like second overall pick 2-3 years ago projected in this draft. Injuries really derailed him, and the fact that he didn't really grow past like 5'10", 5'11". But I think that'll be a very interesting pick for the New York Rangers. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about this mock draft? Again, those are the Athletics stating like the guys that they would pick at those positions. Very interesting. Carter Yakimchuk, 4th overall. That threw me for a loop. That really set the tone. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'll be seeing the next one.